Hey, hey nerd, look over here. Idiot. Hey, do you want to learn Korean? Do you want to snag yourself a hot Korean boyfriend? Well, too fucking bad. This ain't the video for you. Take that fetishization somewhere else. Hey everybody, it's Lolly. I hope you're having a really fucking awesome day. I'm going to tell you guys about how I am learning Korean. All of this is like subjective. First off, let me just say this. All of this is subjective because what works for me might not work for you, and that's totally cool, but it might work. So if I can help at least one person, that's my goal is accomplished. Here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna tell you guys about how I'm learning Korean, how I've been learning Korean. First step number one, you kind of have to do research because there are a lot of places where you can learn it. And you want to make sure you're learning from the right people, make sure your stuff is correct. You want to make sure what you're saying is proper. Like, you don't want to learn from someone who's teaching you like non-formal Korean and then you go up to Korea speaking formally and you get your ass beat. Like, you don't want that to happen. First things first, you want to make sure that you know where you're, like, the places like the place that you go to, the books that you buy, the websites that you look at, the YouTube videos that you watch. You want to make sure that they are verified in the sense of a lot of people talk about them and a lot of people go to these websites, a lot of people use these things. If it's a commonly loved place, then you're probably gonna get shit. So I would definitely recommend Talk to Me in Korean is a big one because everyone goes there. I'm subscribed to their YouTube channel. I haven't had any money to buy their books, but I'm subscribed to their YouTube channel. I watch their videos and they're very, very informative. And I also would recommend, I will put her name on the screen right now. Not only does she do videos about the Korean language, she also does videos about Korean culture, about places in Korea to visit, you know, things like that. She teaches you a lot about not just learning the language, but learning the whole culture, learning about the country, learning about all that stuff. I would recommend those two because those are two that I mainly watched. I didn't really watch nobody else really. We'll go to Pinterest, I will go to Tumblr, Google even. I would just go and I will Google those little pictures where they just list, you know, simple things like, you know, colors in Korean, you know, things like that, numbers in Korean. It's that's what helps me as well. But step number two, which is what I do, is I'm a visual learner, and the way I learn things, I learn better when I write them down in my own words. The way that I do it is that I have a little journal right here. I have a little journal right here with my name on it, and it is called right here Korean Practice, and it's a planner. I put my like YouTube planning stuff on. When I'm planning trips, when I'm planning videos, I put everything in this little book because I like to decorate stuff. I like being colorful, and I like making everything bright and colorful and pretty and everything. So the way that I learn things is that I write things down. See, here I have written down the interrogatives, just general words, you know, the numbers, Sino-Korean and Native Korean, because those are two totally different things. Hangul practice, learning about the vowels, emotions, just simple things, because these are just tiny little things that you'll pick up on. Writing out just by, you know, writing out little phrases that you hear like in dramas or in songs and stuff like that. It helps you recognize. So when you're listening to a song or you're listening to drama, you hear someone say, you know, na pegopa, and you're like, oh, I've heard that before. Oh, that means they're hungry. I'm understanding. And you feel better because you're like, I know what that means. I would definitely recommend buying yourself a little journal, and buying yourself some markers, some pens and pencils and stuff, and just getting crazy with the decorations and shit, because that's what I like to do. It's fun and it engages you so you don't feel like it's boring. Step 3 would be to speak it aloud so you can hear yourself say it. I'm not saying go out and go talk to people in Korean. So there's a little bit of a stigma on saying Korean words and whether or not you're Koreaboo if you say certain words to people. Here's what I think. If you're talking to a friend, for example, and you're saying, hey, you know, I'm trying to learn Korean and let me just try speaking to you in the language for a little bit, okay? And they're like, yeah. And you try and talk to them and you're saying this and you're saying that. That's fine, but makes it a Koreaboo thing is that if you're assuming that any Asian you run into is Korean and you're walking up to him going, oh, oppa, ani, da da da, and that's what makes it Koreaboo. So don't go up to random people speaking a language and assuming that they're Korean and they're not. I know a lot of people where I'm from, I have not met any Koreans, but there are a lot of Hmongs. Known some Koreaboo people who just went up to a Hmong person who is not Korean and started speaking Korean to them, assuming that they were Korean, and they're like, I don't speak that language, and then they just sit there looking salty. Don't embarrass yourself. That's a huge thing with like learning a language. You don't want to embarrass yourself. You don't want to look like an idiot. You don't want to look like you're appropriating the culture. You don't want to look bad. But I mean, saying words aloud, that means, hey, you know, maybe if you're sitting there and you're sitting in your room and you're bored and you're like, you know, I want to learn, I want to brush up on my Korean. So you start saying stuff aloud to get, so your mouth gets used to saying it, because some of these words are really hard to say. Some of them are really, really difficult. I would recommend is doing some vocal exercises. If you are a singer, you're in choir, you probably know what that stuff is, but warming your mouth up will probably help with pronunciation and getting things out and saying it properly, and I would definitely recommend that. And step number 4, what I would definitely recommend is watching more Korean content without subtitles, because that's a good way to test yourself. I think you're so used to watching stuff with subtitles because you want to know what they're saying, but I feel like when you're learning Korean, it's best to say, if you want to watch, you know, the new episode of Weekly Idol, and challenge yourself, just turn the captions off and just watch without captions and try to see how many words you can pick up on. I would definitely recommend doing that with a drama. Might be a little difficult because dramas are different, like especially if you're invested in a drama, you don't want to turn off the captions because you want to know what the fuck is going on. If you're watching, you know, Showtime, Weekly Idol, We Got Married, whatever variety show that you enjoy watching, there's the motorcycle cameo. Those are my technically 5 tips on learning Korean and doing it in a proper, healthy way without making yourself seem like a fanatic. It's such a thin line between what's considered normal and what's considered a Koreaboo. It's such a fucking thin line, like it's so crazy. If you have any other tips for people watching this video, make sure you leave them in the comment section below. Maybe I missed out on something, maybe there's some new tip that you found that works for you and you want to share it with the world, then definitely go ahead and do that. Leave it in the comments. If you want to see more videos like this where I talk about how I'm learning Korean, and you want me to, maybe if you want me to go through my Korean practice book, if you enjoyed this video, make sure you leave a like, because that would really, really get me in my heart and I would cry. No, I'm kidding. You know what you should do? You should curl up on your bed and get yourself a cup of tea or coffee or whatever drink that you're into, and get a book and just read your favorite book and just be happy for a little bit. Be in your own little world and be happy and be less stressful. Take a break from the internet, because that is good. Thank you guys for watching. Again, make sure you like, and if you enjoyed this, subscribe for more. And if you want to follow me on social medias, I'll link those in the description. You can check it if you want to. If you don't want to, that's totally fine with me. And I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.